If you want to change the world, you have to be in it. To leave your mark, you have to be a part of it. To grow, you have to push. Open yourself to new experiences. Expand boundaries. An entire community of services and support there for you as you challenge yourself. New knowledge, new skills. New challenges, new victories. Build the relationships that will help you rise and the friendships that will keep you grounded. Changing the world starts with you. At Algonquin College, the future you want is yours to make. Algonquin College, changing lives.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Добро пожаловать.
خوش آمدید.
Hoş geldiniz.
Bienvenido.
Benvenuto.
환영합니다. ยินดีต้อนรับค่ะ
سواقت. أهلا وسهلا.
Mabuhay.
Chào mừng.
Herzlich willkommen. 欢迎 chào mừng đến với Yokozo. Welcome to Algonquin College.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 2023 Spring International Student Orientation. My name is Xiwen Wang, the International Student Advisor with International Education Center, commonly known as IEC. We are delighted to have you join us today and grateful to be able to warmly welcome you to Algonquin College. Our faculty and staff are dedicated to supporting you throughout your studies and helping you make the very most of your time here. First and foremost, we would like to take this time to acknowledge that Algonquin College is located on the unceded and unsurrounded territory of Algonquin people, traditionally known as Anishinaabe. Algonquin people are the original inhabitants of the wide swath of territory along the Ottawa River. In Algonquin culture, it is appropriate for guests to acknowledge the hospitality of their hosts when entering their territory. With this tradition in mind, Algonquin College respectfully thanks the Algonquin people for hosting us on their ancestral lands. Before going through our agenda for the orientation, I'd like to go through some housekeeping items. This webinar is recorded. The slides and the recording will be available on the iCent app under Student Orientation tab on May 5th. We will learn more about the iCent app in the next slide. Your chat function will be disabled during the presentations, but you can still receive our announcements and the resource links in the chat throughout the presentations. If you have any question, please use the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. We will only collect questions related to today's presentations. Other topics will be covered in AC Day 1 or have been covered in the College Essentials. The registration and the recording links are available on iCent under the Student Orientation tab as well. Please note, we highly encourage you to listen to each presenter carefully, as most of your questions should have already been answered and covered in the presentations. Please wait to ask questions during the 5 minutes break or at the end of each session. Please note, we do not answer questions from anonymous users. We have prepared a fun game about today's presentation content for you to win 3 $25 e-gift cards. Hopefully, this will motivate you to listen carefully throughout the presentations. And when you leave the session, you will receive a link to complete a feedback survey. Completing the survey will grant you another chance to win a gift card to the AC Connection store sponsored by GuardMe Insurance. This orientation is about 2 hours. We will start with a welcome introduction from our Associate Vice President, Global Online and Corporate Learning, as well as the Director of International Education Center, followed by a quick intro video about how the iSend app can be a very handy tool for you to receive newsletters and navigate information at Algonquin College. We then will move on to important sessions about immigration, health insurance, academic integrity, scams and fraud, important reminders, international peer mentor program, and upcoming events. And of course, with a 5 minutes comfort break. Last but not least, don't forget that there will be an exciting game and the opportunity to win a prize at the end of presentations. Now, I am pleased to welcome our Associate Vice President, Global Online and Corporate Learning, Dr. Patrick Devey. We are so grateful that he is able to join us today to introduce himself and welcome you all to the college.
Thank you very much, and indeed, welcome, bienvenue, ahla wa sahla, swagat, Kuan Ying, and I know I'm missing a few languages. I see people from Brazil. I'll have to pick up on my Portuguese, among other things. I just wanted to extend a warm welcome from the leadership team at Algonquin College. We realize that you picked Canada, you picked Ottawa, Canada's capital, and you picked Algonquin College. And for that, we're grateful, we're humbled, and we know you bestow upon us some great responsibilities to ensure that we work together hand in hand to ensure that we transform your hopes and dreams into lifelong success. That is our mission at Algonquin College. So I welcome you. I welcome you on behalf of the Algonquin College family. You are one of us now. And I know that we'll do everything in our power to ensure that you are successful here. And if your journey is to stay in Canada, fantastic. And if it's to go back and work at home or elsewhere around the world, fantastic as well. We're happy to help out, and we're very, very happy to have you with us. So welcome, one and all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patrick, for the very warm welcome. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to greet our new international students. Next, I would like to turn my mic to Ernest Malvey, the Director of International Education Center, to say a few words to welcome our new international students as well, and to introduce the IEC team and services.
Thank you, Shiwen. I'm going to echo Patrick's comments and provide a warm welcome to everyone. It's our great pleasure to welcome you to our summer program, our May intake of our programs at Algonquin College. We're going to wish you a great semester and great success. We know that you've had the opportunity to pick many, many different institutions, and we are privileged that you've decided to study with us here at Algonquin College and here in Ottawa, Perth or Pembroke, depending on where you chose to study, but mainly here at the Ottawa campus. Just to reiterate what Shiwen said, this session is very important. It's going to provide you with a lot of key information on how to be successful at Algonquin College. So we hope you're going to stay for the full 2 hours and enjoy it. And I've just seen someone state that they're at our Mississauga campus at CDI. A warm welcome to you if you're joining us from one of our 2 campuses in Toronto. So a very large group from many different campuses. If we jump to the next slide, Shiwen, I'll just do a brief introduction to everyone else. So not joining us today is Christine Peachy. She's actually had the day off to recharge herself a little bit before the start of the semester. She's the Associate Director of Student Services and Operations, and most of the people you see below her are members of her team, and they're the people here that are to ensure that you're getting the great service from IEC. We can start with Neem, our Manager of International Student Integration. She manages the team of international student advisors and a couple other staff members. And her and her team are here to ensure that you have all the support you need. My assistant, Carolyn Lepage, is the next person. She manages our health insurance. And my advice to you is to do your best not to be able to speak to Carolyn, because often it means that you've had a major health crisis and you want to avoid that and ensure you remain healthy. Our next person, and someone you're likely to see a lot, is Kara Alala. She's our intercultural programming officer, and she'll has a lot of events and other activities planned, including our welcome lunch, which is coming up in about a week. Another person that you'll probably see a lot of is Jenna Dorwin. She manages our front desk, and if you come into the IEC office, you'll get great service from her as you're coming up to ask for help or assistance. I'll then go through our international student advisors, starting with Michelle Cameron. She is our lead advisor and a subject matter expert on immigration. You'll hear from her shortly. And then the rest of our international student advisor team that I'm sure will be meeting are Sue Hodgins, Sonia Bell, Caitlin, you may not see a lot of because she is actually a little bit pregnant and will be going on leave shortly. But we are in the process of replacing her. And of course, our hostess, Shiwen. So just very quickly to touch on the support that we provide. Hopefully you're all in Canada now. And if not, you can still avail yourself to our arrival services. That provides free airport pickup and some support to find housing if you're looking for it, and some other services that are made available. So we all hope that you've signed up for those services. We provide settlement, integration support, and other types of resources to make sure you have a good experience in Canada. We do orientations like the one we're doing now. Very key piece of information. We help you go through all the information we get from Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. That's the entity that provides the study permit, the postgraduate work permit, and all that type of stuff. We also work with GuardMe and the GuardMe Health Insurance and provide support there. We support you if you want to change programs, which we hope you don't want to do, and if you withdraw, and we absolutely hope that you don't want to withdraw from the college. And then we offer other types of support, such as peer tutoring, peer mentorship programs. Kara, who you just met, supports the social and cultural event workshops and clinics. Also support you with paid and volunteer opportunities. And finally, which I think Shiwen's going to touch on shortly, we encourage you to use and download the iSend app.
Thank you so much, Ernest. We really appreciate that your warm welcome to our new international students and the introduction to the IEC support team and services. Next, I'm happy to introduce our wonderful guest speakers today. Brett Peck from GuardMe Insurance, Sandra Lawil, Senior Manager from Academic Integrity Department, and Michelle Ho from Security Services of Algonquin College. They will later present on important topics relating to GuardMe health insurance, academic integrity, and scams and fraud. Now, I'm very excited to introduce the iSend app designed specifically for Algonquin international students. Let's take a quick look how you can navigate the AC information easily and always get informed at your fingertips.
Get to know the college. IEC iSent App Edition. What is iSent App? iSent is a one-stop shop free app designed for Algonquin College international students to access and navigate campus resources, services, online portals, and receive push notifications with important updates 24/7 at your fingertips. How to download and register for the iSent app. Download the app from a Canadian region Google Play or App Store. Register with your preferred email or via a third-party account. Choose Algonquin College as the institution, then you're all set. How to navigate information on this app. You can access all campus services and resources via the landing page tabs. For example, you can access IRCC immigration-related resources regarding your study permit, work permit, and temporary resident visa under Student Resources. You can also find other essential resources regarding your life as international students under this tab. Want to follow what events and workshops are happening on campus or online? Check out the Events and Workshops tab, which includes event calendars from the International Education Center, AC Hub, and Students Association, so you will not miss out on any events that interest you. If you're getting tired of bookmarking different web pages to access online portals, request forms, and letters, then you will love the Online Portals and Requests tab. This tab gathers most frequently used online portals and document requests in one place for your convenience. It's also very important to get connected and involved with the AC community to gain valuable experience and networking. Check out the Support and Engagement tab to find resources to enrich your experience with Algonquin College. Whenever important information and reminders occur, you will receive push notifications on your phone from iSent and when you log on to the app landing page. The bell button at the bottom will indicate if there are any new notifications that you have not read. We also use this function to notify when a bi-weekly international newsletter has been updated under the Newsletters tab. It is critically important to check out the newsletters for the most up-to-date information and reminders for AC international students. This video only provides a quick and general overview of how to navigate this app. We encourage you to explore more tabs and resources on this app to ease your life and be successful during your study at Algonquin College as an international student.
So please note that we are constantly improving and update the app for easier information navigation. So you will find there minor differences when you use the app compared to the intro video we just presented. And also, please make sure you check your system setting to make sure that you enable the push notifications from the iSent to receive our announcements. Now I will turn my mic to my colleague, International Student Advisor Team Lead, Michelle Cameron, who will share essential information, immigration information with you, which you are required to know as an international student in Canada. Just as a reminder, please do not rush to ask your questions yet. Do finish listening to the session first, then ask your questions after, so that you do not miss any critically important information. From now on, we are also disabling the chat function so that you can focus on the presentation content. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you so much. And that information was super valuable. So please do listen before you start asking your questions. We'll do our best to address everyone's questions. So we're going to get started with very important information for international students. So you are regulated by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. You are regulated, meaning that you do have to follow very important rules that are set out by IRCC. Not following the rules or making a choice that is not the right choice could result in a future refused application or even a ban from the country. This does happen depending on the rule that you have chosen to break. So coming to Canada means that you're coming for the purpose of studying. And there are a lot of rules to ensure that that is your main focus. We have learned recently, we will talk a little bit about the work stoppage that seems to have been stopped, or we're going back with IRCC being functional again. So you can call them at 1-888-242-2100 if you are in Canada. This means that if you have an immigration related question, sometimes our team can help you, often we can, but you can also reach out to IRCC directly if you are in Canada by calling this number. And it is not impossible to get through, though you may have to try a few times and have a little bit of patience on your end in order to get through to an agent, but it is possible. If you are not in Canada and you have an important immigration related question and you would like the answer directly from IRCC, you can use what's called the IRCC web form. And this is often used for students who are not in Canada. In Canada, it's best to call. You'll get a person on the phone who can answer your question right away. Otherwise, use the IRCC web form. And of course, you also always have our team to help and support you as well while you're here with your studies. Next slide, Shiwen. So as mentioned, so we just learned today that the labor disruption that was in place, the staff for IRCC have a tentative agreement with the government. And so as far as we're concerned, or as far as we know, the labor disruption is no longer, meaning that staff are back at work. This means that online applications, your processing of applications will not be disrupted anymore. You can reach out to IRCC. If we learn of anything different, we will certainly let you know. As Shiwen mentioned, the ISAN tab is the best place to go for quick and easy information and updates that we send to you. We also send newsletters to your email as well. So do keep yourself aware of the email communication that we send out and the iSent app to learn if there are any changes to this. But as far as we know, the work stoppage has stopped, meaning that workers are back in place for IRCC. Next slide, please. So here we go. Thank you for choosing Algonquin College. We are here to help and support you, and this information is for your success, your future success in Canada as a student, but also to ensure that you are meeting IRCC's rules and regulations. You are required to follow IRCC's study permit conditions. This means that you are expected to be a student. You are required to be enrolled at Algonquin College. We're mentioning Algonquin. The overall picture is at a designated learning institution, a DLI. Algonquin College is a DLI. You can refer to your letter of acceptance that was issued to you for your program for Algonquin College's DLI number. You can also Google Algonquin College DLI number and you'll find it there. This means that when you apply to Algonquin College for your initial study permit, IRCC now has you tagged as a student at Algonquin College. This is important for you to know. You are also expected to show that you're actively pursuing your studies by being enrolled full-time or part-time. However, part-time has some work-related information about being part-time. So ideally, you want to focus on being a full-time student if you want to be eligible to work on or off campus and meet eligibility for the future post-grad, which we will talk about in future slides. So you must be enrolled at a college, at a DLI. You must show that you're actively pursuing your studies by being enrolled, ideally full-time. Making progress towards completing your program's courses. This means that you must be studying actively and not taking authorized leave more than 150 days. So these are the conditions on IRCC's website, which we will talk a little bit more about in depth in the next coming slides. You must inform IRCC if you change your post-secondary institution. So this means that if you're joining Algonquin College from another institution, that means that you initially applied for your study permit using a letter of acceptance from another institution. You must inform IRCC that you have changed to Algonquin College. As I mentioned earlier, IRCC has you tagged as a student at Algonquin College if you used your letter of acceptance for Algonquin College. Every DLI in Canada will receive a list of all the students who are expected to be at that DLI several times a year, and the institution must report on the students who are tagged to the DLI. So if you're not tagged to Algonquin, you need to inform IRCC right away that you are now tagged at Algonquin College. We can assist you with the steps, though it should be fairly easy for you to learn how to change your DLI on your favorite browser. Next slide, please. So we're mentioning social insurance number here because there's a lot of confusion when it comes to the social insurance number. So social insurance number is issued to you after you arrive in Canada. It cannot be issued to you outside of Canada. You must be in Canada. It is issued by Service Canada. And we do have, I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but we have SIN clinics where you can get your social insurance number here at Algonquin College. Service Canada has partnered with Algonquin where they will come on site and give new international students their social insurance number on the spot. Do check our IAC events page. This will be shared with you. Again, it's also on the iSent app to learn when and where those SIN clinics will be offered on campus so you can easily get your social insurance number here at Algonquin. Woodruff campus, I believe there's also sessions scheduled for Pembroke as well. Do check the IAC events calendar for that. So it is issued by Service Canada, and your study permit, in order to be eligible for the SIN, must indicate that you may accept employment on or off campus. Something along these lines. It must be on the study permit. If you were issued a work permit, and we will definitely talk about this in the coming slides, so a paper document that says work permit, this is meant for work that is part of studies only, not for any kind of on or off campus work. It's only tied to the work that is part of your studies, whether it's paid or unpaid. It doesn't really matter. That work permit will cover that work only. So it's the study permit that matters here. It should indicate that you may accept employment on or off campus, and the study permit will allow you to get a social insurance number. Now, the big thing here is that the SIN number does not necessarily mean you're eligible to work. A social insurance number is required by an employer in Canada legally to employ an employee. As an international student, as mentioned earlier, there are many rules that you need to follow, and that includes whether or not you are eligible to work on or off campus. Service Canada does not regulate this, IRCC does, and as an international student, it is your responsibility to know what the rules are for you to work legally. In the first slide, I believe I mentioned that there could be serious consequences, such as a ban from Canada if you choose to do something that you're not supposed to do. Working without authorization is one of those very serious pieces that will happen if you choose not to follow that rule. Authorizing work is very important for you to know, so what you can and cannot do. Again, the iSent app and the IAC events page will provide more information about when those SIN clinics are available for you. And we will definitely talk more about work eligibility in the coming slides. So next slide, please, Shiwan. Thank you. So right into it, off-campus work. The study permit, as mentioned, authorizes on or off-campus work. Not the work permit, not a paper that says work permit. It is the study permit, the paper document that you receive when you enter Canada that says study permit. That's the one that authorizes you to work off-campus. Unfortunately, and I did see in the chat earlier, we do have students in ICHS. The unfortunate news for you is that while you are in the ICHS program, and of course, if there are students from our EAP program, you are not yet eligible to work off campus. You are not authorized. You must be actively studying in a full-time academic program that leads to a certificate, degree, or diploma in order to be eligible to work off campus. The reason why ICHS students are not eligible is because your program is less than the minimum 6 months that is required. So IRCC says in order to be eligible for off-campus work, you must be full-time in a program that leads to a certificate, diploma, or degree, and that is a minimum of 6 months in duration. You would be eligible to work 20 hours per week off campus. We will talk about the temporary measure in the coming slides, so just hang in there. For the majority of students, it's a 20-hour off-campus limit for off-campus work. You can work full-time during a scheduled break. A scheduled break is a firm break that all students have at the same time. If you are not sure if your program includes a scheduled break, please reach out to your academic department. I believe you will have a program orientation next week, if I'm not mistaken. And this would be a great opportunity to learn if your program includes a scheduled break or not. Some programs do and some programs do not. It's important to know as soon as possible if you have a scheduled break or not so that you can plan accordingly. You can work full-time only if the break is scheduled. That means it's a firm break. All students have the same break at the same time. If you choose to take a break, then in most cases, 99.9% of the time, you are not authorized to work. So if you're choosing a break, it's called authorized leave. It's an unscheduled break, but IRCC refers to it as authorized leave. It is supported, and we will talk about this in the coming slides. You are supported to take a break, but you cannot work. Like I said, 99.9% of the time, if you're the very small minority of students who might be eligible, we would like to have a discussion just to confirm if you are eligible to work or not. But the study permit that authorizes you to work on or off campus would not authorize you to work during authorized leave. Next slide, please. All right, here we go. My little earbud just left. So the temporary measure that I mentioned will allow, if you meet eligibility for this temporary measure, you may be eligible to work more than the 20-hour per week limit. The current study permit that you have, you must have applied for it on October 7th, 2022 or before in order to be eligible. So if you have an application that was submitted after October 7th, 2022, you are likely not eligible for the temporary measure that allows more than 20 hours per week off-campus work eligibility. We have in this slide deck, and it will be shared in the chat, a work eligibility self-assessment tool. You'll be able to determine how many hours per week you are eligible for if you meet the temporary measure or not. Again, the key date here is October 7th, 2022. If you have a study permit application, extension application in process, and you applied for it on or before October 7th, then you may be eligible for the temporary measure. Anything after October 7th, that means an initial application for study permit or study permit extension would mean that you're not eligible. There are some students who will be in between where they're eligible for a certain period of time, maybe not for the whole year. The measure ends on December 31st, 2023. If you want to be sure or connect with an international student advisor to confirm your eligibility, you can certainly do that. It is a peak period of time, so it may be a little bit longer to get back to you, but ideally you could send an email to our IEC support@algonquincollege.com email and provide details about your current study permit, when you applied for it and when it expires. If you've applied for a study permit extension, include that information again with dates. We need to know the dates. When did you submit? When is the expiry of current study permit? And this way we can let you know if you meet the temporary measure, and if so, for how long. Every case is different. We've learned, this measure was announced on October 7th, 2022. So we have advised quite a number of students on whether or not they meet the eligibility for this. This is not the platform today at our ISO to determine individuals and if they meet temporary measures. So again, iSent app to learn more about these resources, use the work eligibility tool, or reach out to our team to learn if you do meet eligibility to work more than 20 hours per week. Next slide, please. More about the temporary measure. Again, if you are eligible, this is important for all students. It's not necessarily just about the temporary measure, but the number of work hours is actually determined by the province. Now, IRCC, if you don't meet the temporary measure and you're eligible for 20 hours off campus per week, that's a firm amount of hours that you cannot really negotiate. If it's up to 20 hours, that's it, that's all. You can't work more than 20 hours. If you want to work less, that's up to you, but no more than 20 hours. For those of you who meet the temporary measure, or if you're eligible to work full-time during a scheduled break, a firm break that all students have in your program at the same time. When we say full-time hours, like I said, it's regulated by province, not by IRCC. So it's the provinces that regulate the number of hours of work. And for Ontario, it states 48 hours. If you do have an agreement with an employer and yourself to work more than 48 hours, it has to be in writing and there has to be a written agreement. And that is to ensure that you're not being taken advantage of. If you are working for an employer and you're working more than what you're supposed to, you should be compensated for that. And so there are labor laws to protect employees not being taken advantage of by their employers on the number of hours of work that they can work. So that is worth a mention for all students. Next slide, please. So more about the work eligibility. Again, it's the study permit, not a work permit. You may have received 2 documents when you entered Canada. The study permit authorizes you to work on or off campus. It cannot be used for work that is part of studies. That's where the work permit comes in. The study permit must have a remark that says may accept employment on or off campus. Now, this is important. If you arrived in Canada and you received your study permit, and it does not have the remark that says you can work on or off campus, one of 2 things may have happened. One, perhaps you were accepted into a program previously somewhere in Canada, maybe at Algonquin or at another institution, and the program that you applied to did not allow off-campus work. Language program is one of those programs where many students will receive the study permit without the remark indicating that you're permitted to work off campus. If that's the case, and you're now in an academic program, you can change the conditions of your study permit and have that remark added to the study permit to allow you to work off campus. The other thing that might have happened when you arrived in Canada with a study permit is that a mistake was made. And this does happen as well. What we strongly recommend, if you've already arrived, you've arrived. But if you're on your way and you're listening to this message, when you enter Canada, this is when your study permit will be printed and given to you. Before you leave the officer that prints the document, take a moment and look at the document. If there is a mistake, have the officer correct it. They will correct it on the spot if a human error was made on your study permit. If you've arrived and noticed the error after you've left the port of entry that you entered, then you can amend the study permit. It means mailing in an application. You do have to submit the original study permit. I know this is a lot of information. I'll try and keep it short, but if you notice that your study permit doesn't have the remark, determine if it's a mistake or if it's possible that you applied for initial program that didn't allow off-campus work. In that case, you would change the conditions, and we are here to support you with either of those scenarios. So do let us know at iecsupport@algonquincollege.com if something has happened, so we can guide you with the process to either amend or change the conditions of your study permit. We'll go to the next slide. On-campus work, the good news here for our EAP and ICHS students is that you are eligible to work if you are studying full-time. So that's a big relief, hopefully, for some of you who are not eligible for off-campus work. You must be actively studying in your program. So you have to start your program and be full-time and be actively studying. This is IRCC's requirement. Again, what are you expected to do in Canada with a study permit? You're expected to study. Yep. You must have a valid study permit. You must have a social insurance number. There's no limit to the number of hours on campus if you're eligible for on-campus work. However, Algonquin College might have a limit as to how many hours a student can work on campus. You can work on and off campus if you're eligible. So if you're eligible to work off campus, you can also work on campus at the same time. You can work off campus for the number of hours you're eligible for, and unlimited number of hours on campus. Again, it depends on your employer, how many hours they can provide, but that is definitely something that you're eligible to do. Of course, IRCC states you must stop working on campus on the day you no longer are studying full-time or when your study permit expires. Don't let your study permit expire. You may want to consider putting an alert on your phone. I'm going to suggest 3 or 4 months before your current study permit expires to say, hey, if I need to extend my study permit, I should do it before it expires. Just a thought. Next slide, please. All right, so we talked about how the study permit paper document allows you to work on or off campus. If you entered Canada and you received a second paper that says work permit, the work permit is likely for work that is part of your studies. You should refer to your letter of acceptance that was issued to you for Algonquin College. In the second paragraph of that letter of acceptance, it will tell you if you have a work requirement. Paid or unpaid, it could be a project for a client, regardless. It could be on campus, off campus. If your program has a work requirement, you are required by IRCC to have a special work permit to authorize that work, because the work that you are completing as a student in your program is considered career type work. And IRCC has a responsibility to protect work for Canadians and permanent residents. So if the work that you're doing competes with the Canadian labor market, you must be authorized. And this is the authorization that you require in order to be able to complete work that is on or off campus. This is also very important for IRCC. The study permit alone does not allow you to complete any kind of work that is part of your studies. The co-op internship work permit, although IRCC just titles it work permit, will allow you. Now, on the work permit, there may be one of 3 things or all 3 on there. It might say Algonquin College is your employer. That's an indication that the work permit is for work that is part of studies. If it doesn't say Algonquin College, somewhere on the document, it will mention co-op. And it may or may not say that. The other indicator is that there will be a remark that says the work cannot form more than 50% of your studies. That's another indication that the work permit that you received is only for work that is part of studies. I believe we have a poll question.
Yes, we do.
All right, so we'll go ahead with the poll question. Drum roll. I will be silent. I won't actually make a drum roll. So we want to know, for those of you participating today, have you received your co-op internship work permit at the port of entry? So for those of you who are now in Canada, did you receive 2 documents? One of them a study permit. We don't need an answer on that, but another document that says work permit. We would love to know if you received that work permit.
Just give it a few more seconds. Right now we're at the 60% participation. Okay, I'm just gonna count down to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you so much for the participation. Right now we are reaching almost at 80% of participation. And I will end the poll and share the results.
Okay. This is very insightful. So almost 60% of you have, 20%, 21% of you have not. A few of you aren't sure, that's okay. And 19% have not arrived yet. So do keep that in mind for those 19%. When you do arrive, one, check the documents before you walk away from the officer to ensure a mistake was not made. And just note if you receive 2 paper documents, one a study permit, the other one a work permit. Thank you, Shiwen, for that.
Yeah.
Very insightful.
No problem. I will stop sharing.
Perfect. So many of you would have included the co-op internship work permit with your initial study permit application. Many of you have agents or perhaps other representatives that assisted you with the study permit application. So some of you may not know if the co-op internship work permit was included with your study permit application. The important thing here is to check your letter of acceptance. If your letter of acceptance has a work requirement that is tied to your program, again, it doesn't matter if it's paid or unpaid. You require this work permit to complete the work. Check your letter of acceptance. If you've arrived and you don't have that work permit, do reach out to our team. Reach out. I am presenting on Wednesday. I believe my colleagues are going to share this information in the chat. Everything's a blur right now. I'm hosting 2 presentations this week. One is tomorrow, work eligibility. Another one later in the week about co-op internship work permits specifically. If you have a question or a doubt, please join the webinar that I will be presenting to talk a lot more about this topic and to learn how we can help you, or to inform you how you can apply for this once you are in Canada, if you don't have it and you require it. So again, just very quickly, I know I'm repeating a lot of stuff here, but it's very important. The study permit does not authorize work that is part of your studies. And to learn if your program includes work, look at your letter of acceptance. The need for a co-op internship work permit, this is important, doesn't mean that your program is a co-op program. There's a lot of misunderstanding about this. Your program may have a field work. It may have a non-paid 1 week work hour requirement. Maybe it's a project in your class, but it's for an employer. You're doing work that a Canadian or permanent resident would do for that employer. We do have a link here. So to learn if your program is a co-op program, you can go to this website. Again, most of the work requirements that are required for your program are not necessarily co-op programs. So this work permit is required for any kind of work. I think that's it. Now, I've talked very strictly about the requirement of the co-op internship work permit for programs that include work. If you meet the temporary measure that I talked about earlier for off-campus work, so again, the key date is October 7th. If your current study permit, if you applied for it on October 7th, 2022 or earlier, you may not require this work permit temporarily, as there is a temporary measure, same measure that is in place for the off-campus work. If you meet that temporary measure, you are exempted from requiring the work permit until December 31st, 2023, or until your current permit expires if you meet the temporary measure. We will, as I mentioned, I will be hosting a webinar tomorrow about work eligibility and talking a lot more about the temporary measure and just more about work eligibility. So that is a session that is being held tomorrow, and later on about co-op internship work specifically. Again, we will be mentioning the temporary measure there as well. We'll go to the next slide. So quickly, and I don't know how I'm doing, Shiwen, you'll have to let me know time-wise. I know I talk a lot sometimes. I don't want to take up too much time.
You probably have a few minutes. Right now it's reaching according to the agenda, but you have a few minutes because you only have 2 left, 2 pages left.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So scheduled versus unscheduled breaks. This was mentioned in the study permit conditions. You are permitted to take authorized leave. That's a break that you choose to take for up to 150 days. In most cases, you're not eligible to work during an authorized leave, an unscheduled break. Your program orientation is the best place to learn if you have a scheduled break in your program. If you have a scheduled break, you can work full-time during the scheduled break. You must be full-time before and after the scheduled break, and you must have a study permit, SIN number, etc. So authorized leave, you're not eligible to work, and it is supported. Sometimes life happens. We have personal reasons to take a break, all sorts of different things that happen. We can support you in learning more about what that means for you. You know how to reach us. I've mentioned it a few times. We can talk a lot more about this, but taking a leave more than 150 days, this is something that could be a problem, especially for your future postgrad work permit. So we'll go to the next slide because I have a feeling that's what it's going to be about. Yes. So very quickly, you stay on track. You respect all the rules in place set out by IRCC. This is the expectation. Your main reason for being in Canada is to study. It's not to work. It is to study. And we are here to help you. There are so many resources to help you be successful. If you are on track and you meet all of the requirements for a postgrad work permit, you will be able to apply for this. It is an open work permit that is a pathway towards permanent resident status. So for a lot of international students who are interested in becoming a permanent resident, there's a certain pathway that is very popular for most students. It's not saying it's the only way, but it is for the majority of students. You can only apply once in a lifetime for this postgrad. So for those of you who are in a one-year program, we'll just quickly go down. You take a one-year program, you're eligible for a one-year postgrad work permit. If you take a 2, 3, or 4-year program, you're eligible for a 3-year postgrad. We're assuming that you're meeting all the other conditions, being full-time, with the exception of being part-time only in your final semester only, and that you did not take a leave, authorized leave, for more than 150 days. Full-time, you're staying on track, you're reaching out for all the help you need to be successful in your academic programs, etc., and you'll be eligible for this postgrad. So in addition, if you decide to take another one-year program, there are a lot of you who are in a one-year program who may add a second one-year program. This is very popular for a lot of international students. You will be eligible for a 3-year postgrad work permit. As mentioned, the postgrad work permit is a popular pathway for permanent residency for a lot of our international students. We do offer every semester a session, a webinar on postgrad work permits, and we invite IRCC staff to come and present about Express Entry, which is a very popular stream of permanent residence for international students. So check the IEC calendar for those important dates. And like I said, it's offered every semester. So we hope to see you at our upcoming sessions on work eligibility co-op. And there is another session, IRCC, on IRCC Q&A. If there's questions that we didn't get to today, we'll do our best. You can attend the session on the 16th, where you can learn a little bit more about just your own question, bring your own questions, and we'll have them answered then. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for the wonderful presentation. If you have any immigration-related questions, you can find more IRCC resources, book an appointment with one of our international student advisor on iSent app under our IRCC Immigration Info tab, or email us at the email address on this slide. As Michelle mentioned, we also run many IRCC workshops on various topics regularly throughout the term, which you can find on our IEC event calendar on iSent app under Events and Workshops tab. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Brett Peck, the manager of Gardner International Insurance, to share detailed information about your student medical health insurance plan. Brett.
Thanks very much, Xuan. Thank you for having me here today. Hopefully the information presented here is helpful for you. So next slide, please. I'm sure you're all very excited to be coming to Canada and Ottawa. But, you know, the last thing you want to think about is medical expenses and what happens if I become sick or injured. So, you know, I'm showing on the screen here some very typical costs that, for example, it would cost at least $500 to take an ambulance, or at least $1,000 to go to the emergency room at a hospital. And then those costs escalate very quickly if you need to spend at least one night in hospital. So next slide, please. So that's why Algonquin College has chosen a very comprehensive plan that covers you for 100% of eligible charges, you know, for things like hospitalizations and doctor's visits, medically necessary surgery or diagnostic testing like x-rays, prescription drugs, again, at 100% up to a 60-day supply. Psychotherapy is a very important benefit to have because mental health is just as important as your physical health. There are, you know, some non-emergency benefits in here, like an annual eye exam, an annual doctor's visit, just for a checkup to see how things are going. Pregnancies are covered up to $25,000, so long as the pregnancy started no more than 30 days before the start of your policy or during the term of your policy. There's a couple of dental benefits in here, like dental accident. If you fall and break your teeth, or if you're playing cricket and the ball hits you in the face and breaks some teeth, then we can cover up to $5,000 to repair broken teeth. There are immunization benefits in here. If your course requires you to get an immunization, for example, hepatitis A or B, you know, we can cover up to $500 so long as that immunization is required for your course. Great benefit as well is the maintenance of chronic ongoing conditions. So if you have diabetes or asthma and routinely take a medication to manage your condition, then this plan can cover you for up to $10,000 per year for the maintenance of those conditions. So really comprehensive plan. Next slide, please. I'm only mentioning a few of them, but please take the time to review your benefit summary because, you know, as you can see by this screenshot here, there are quite a few more benefits than what I've listed. So please take the time to read through that. Next slide. But as with any insurance plan, there are exclusions, things that aren't covered. So I'll encourage you to read all of them, but I'll highlight a few of them for you right now. So treatments that aren't medically necessary. Basically, if a doctor tells you this is elective or optional, if you can choose to do it as opposed to it being medically necessary, then call us so that you can know for sure if it's going to be included or not. You don't want expensive surprises, thinking something might be covered, but it isn't. Non-prescription medication, basically, if you can walk into a pharmacy and buy something from the shelves without a prescription, then it's not going to be included. And there are a few prescriptions that are excluded, like contraceptive, so the birth control pill. This plan covers you anywhere in the world except for your home country. So if you want to travel to the United States for a weekend or up to a week, actually up to 30 days in the US, then you don't have to buy any additional travel insurance to go down there. This plan covers you out of country as well, just not in your home country. And then the last one that I'll mention is claims resulting from drug or alcohol use are excluded. So we do get the medical reports from the hospital. So if you do have an accident because you've been consuming drugs or alcohol, then those costs are entirely yours to bear. So do so with your own risk, at your own risk. Next slide, please. It's a lot of information and we don't expect you to remember all of it. So we've created this website here. Please take a moment to bookmark that website when you get a few minutes. So www.gard.me/Algonquin. If you're coming here with dependents, so a partner, a husband, a wife, children, you can add this same great insurance plan for them if you'd like to. You can just purchase it directly through the website. If you are graduating Algonquin College and wanting to stay on to get your postgrad work permit, to stay in Canada to work, etc., we will sell you an insurance plan if you would like to, entirely optional. You just click recent graduates there on the website. And there's a 30-day window in which you have to purchase that following the end of your policy. We're an insurance company that focuses only on international education. So, yeah, but we will sell you an insurance plan if you'd wish after you graduate. Some really good links on here I'll mention, and I'll go into a little bit more detail. Find a Canadian Clinic and Mobile Doctor. So remember that those are on this site as well. Next slide, please. So the iSent app, as mentioned, is a great resource, great area for you to check your health insurance information as well. So Algonquin College uses this app very well to manage your health insurance information, and you can plug it in. You can authenticate the connection between our databases directly through this icon here. Next slide, please. So now you know why it's important to have health insurance. It's very expensive to seek medical attention here. So I'll just take the next couple of slides to inform you how to access medical care in Canada. So sort of at the first level, if you're feeling sick and you want to reach out to a doctor from the comfort of your own room, you can do so with a free service for you to use called Mobile Doctor. You can have access to a doctor in the palm of your hand or on a computer at any time of day. The average wait time to see a doctor is 4 minutes. And then you can have a consultation with the doctor. If they think you need a prescription, that can be sent digitally through the app. You can pick the closest pharmacy to you on a map, or your prescription can be sent at no additional cost the next business day to you as well. So those are great options there. You would need to register for this service prior to using it. If you just go to the App Store, Google Play, and download the Maple Medical app, you'll have to pay for it with each consultation. So please register first before using it. You'll just need your GuardMe policy number, which I'll talk about in a moment. Next slide. So taking it up a notch, if you need to see someone in person to assess some minor health concerns, I'll talk about that after we run a quick poll here to see how many people are familiar with how to access care in Ontario. So Schwinn, would you like to launch the poll?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I always find these very interesting to see, how many people may have been here. So the question is, how much do you know about how to access Canada's healthcare system? So please take a moment to answer the question, because if everybody knows it very well, then I'll skip all of these slides in future presentations. From doing these for a few years and speaking to many thousands of students, most students find this helpful. So if you could just take a moment to fill out that poll, please, that would be great.
We're right now almost reached to 70% participation. We just give another 5 seconds. Okay, I'm just counting down. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. We're at 76% participation. Thank you, everyone, for participating and ending the poll and sharing the results.
1% know it very well. All right. So this part of the presentation will just be a review for you. However, for the 91% who know very little or nothing at all about it, this should be very helpful and informative for you. So healthcare in Canada is the responsibility of each of the provinces. So here in the province of Ontario, I live in Ottawa as well. Recently there were some changes so that pharmacists, licensed pharmacists at pharmacies, drugstores around the city can see you for minor health concerns, what are listed on the screen here. So, some of these you will need to book an appointment, but most of them you can just walk in, wait for the pharmacist for maybe 0 minutes, and you can have an assessment to see if, the pink eye that you have, if you need some eye drops for that. If it hurts when you pee, honestly, it's kind of strange to talk about it, but that is the most common reason why students seek medical attention. So I'm mentioning it. You can go to a pharmacy, have a consultation, describe your symptoms to the pharmacist, and they can provide you with a prescription right there. So when you show your GuardMe healthcare access card at the pharmacy, the consultation and new prescriptions for these eligible conditions can be billed to us directly, meaning you can see a medical professional, you can get a prescription and not have to pay anything out of pocket. Great resource for non-urgent health concerns. Next slide, please. So then going up a notch a little bit, if the concern that you're experiencing, if you have a minor illness or a minor injury, then all across the city, there are doctors' offices and walk-in clinics that can treat you for minor illnesses. In the Ottawa campus on Woodruff Avenue, there's a health clinic there staffed by doctors and nurses. You can book an appointment with them to treat you for minor things, again, such as what's listed on the screen here: urinary tract infection, rashes, skin irritations, ear infections, cough, cold, flu, things of that nature that aren't really urgent. The wait times and the cost of accessing care in these settings is much lower than it would be in the hospital, which are reserved for more urgent health concerns. Next slide, please. So if you have a major emergency like broken bones, cuts that need stitches to close up, a high fever, if it's the worst pain you felt in your life, if you have trouble breathing, then those are all good reasons to seek medical attention at a hospital. You can call 911 if you cannot get to the hospital otherwise, and 911 is our emergency number for getting an ambulance. So make sure that you ask for an invoice from the ambulance company and we'll reimburse you for that, or pay them directly if you don't pay the ambulance company. Same with the hospital. If the hospital sees you for a medical concern, call us as soon as you can. If it's an emergency, you take the ambulance, you get admitted, and then once you're settled into the hospital, give us a call so that we can connect with the finance department at that hospital. The wait times can be many, many hours. Personally, I've never waited for less than 6 hours at a hospital, but we have very good high level of care here in Canada. And so, if you need it, please please go to the hospital for those major emergencies. Next slide, please. So hopefully that was informative to tell you about the different tiers in accessing healthcare here. Now, how do you get your card? How do you get that piece of information that you can use to bill GuardMe directly? So once you get an email from GuardMe, which I'll show you on the next screen, you will activate your account, log into your account. You probably can't see my mouse on the screen, but there's a little red pointer arrow there at the bottom, which shows you the area that you have to click to download your healthcare access card. So perfect, there's the mouse. So next slide, please. So at the beginning of each semester, we receive all of your information. We enter that into our database and automatically email you to your personal emails that have been provided by the college, a link to activate your account. So you'll go in, click on that little icon that was just shown, and then you'll receive this, your healthcare access card. So print a copy of it, keep a digital copy with you. You can fetch this through the iSent app as well. And this is proof of your insurance. You can show this to dentists, pharmacies, and many, many clinics for direct billing, meaning you wouldn't need to pay out of pocket for eligible medical expenses. Next slide, please. So I mentioned to call us before being admitted to the hospital. If you get a treatment plan from a doctor saying this is elective, this is optional, call us so that you can know if that would be covered under your insurance plan, because it doesn't cover absolutely every single thing that you can think of. So if you have any doubts, reach out to us. There's a couple things that do need to be pre-approved, such as expensive diagnostic testing like an MRI or CT scan. Those start at around $700, but we want you to be sure that it's going to be covered for your particular medical condition. So please call us for any of that. Next slide, please. Now, if you do need to pay out of pocket for medical expenses, how do you get your money back? You do that by going through the microsite that we just showed you, guard.me/Algonquin, and submitting a claim. So it's much better to do it online. However, if you want to print your healthcare access card, the bottom portion of that is the claim form. You can fill that out and mail it to us with your original receipts. However, it takes longer, so I highly encourage you to do it online. Either way, we can reimburse you. The best method is direct deposit to a Canadian bank account. If you're about to graduate, leave Algonquin, go back to your home country, we can send an international wire transfer. We can mail you a check in Canada as well. Or if you don't have a Canadian bank account, another option is a claims reimbursement card, which is a prepaid debit MasterCard. It takes our team up to 5 business days to process a completed claim. Next slide, please. So please contact us with any questions. We've got lots of staff in our offices that will respond to your questions, either by phone, by email. If you go to the website that's listed here, guard.me/Algonquin, there's an online chat button from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Saturday, and it's 9 in the morning until 8 at night on Sunday. Reach out through any of these mechanisms. And if you have a serious medical emergency, please remember that you can call 911 for an ambulance. And thanks very much. Hopefully you have a safe and healthy experience here in Canada.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Brett. You can log in your GuardMe account to view your policy details and seek support on Mobile Doctor on iSend app under Health and Wellness tab, as mentioned by Brett. And if you have any questions that cannot be answered with the above methods or via GuardMe customer representatives, then you can send an email to iec.insurance@algonquincollege.com. All right, so we know that you have been busy digesting all the information from these presentations so far. So we're gonna take a 5 minutes break to stretch and relax, or ask questions related to the first 2 presentation sessions. Just a gentle reminder for the CDI students in Toronto, you have a different email to contact if you have questions specifically for you. So I'm gonna ask my colleague to put into the chat momentarily so you can write down that information. Now, we're gonna see you back for more important information sessions and the Kahoot game to win the prize.
I'm Wen Yang. I'm an international student from China. I've been in Canada since 2013. Yeah, I think so. And I'm an Algonquin College student now, doing multi-power technician, and it's my last semester. When I was little, I was super into music, but it was super expensive to have a professional teacher teaching one-on-one. When I grew up, I got super into cars because my dad is engineering. My first car is a Volkswagen GTI. It's a 2015. It's my dream car when I was little. I just want to know more about car, how it works, how to work it better. So I was at a car dealership, and one of my friends said he studied here, multi-power technician, and it was an awesome program if you want to work on cars. Like there are a lot of hands-on activities, like hand-on tools, labs with a professional instructor. And I said, oh, I'd love to try that. Because we are a small program, unlike the university, we have like 30 people in our program, so we could have a lot of opportunities to talk to the professor face-to-face, one-on-one, and they've been helpful a lot. I'm happy to be a part of the car community in Algonquin College, and I just can't wait for graduate to actually go further to see what's going on from there.
Hi, I'm Ana Maria Baracaldo. I'm from Colombia, and I came here in August last year. I think I'm a very calm, patient person. I like just to go on walks in the morning. I enjoy my time alone. I am also very athletic. I played soccer for like 9 years, so I'm really passionate about soccer. My biggest plan when I was in high school was to study abroad. Just how Canada works, the like lifestyle you can get here. That was like the main goal for me, to have like a steady, calm, really beautiful place to live. I thought about studying architecture, and Algonquin College had like a really good architectural program. The program was really what I was looking for. I am passionate about the programming, kind of AutoCAD, just spending hours and hours doing like models and floor plans and all the little details. I'm very perfectionist and like detailed, so I enjoy just spending a lot of time designing something. All the people is really friendly here in Algonquin, and they show me where the classroom, where the gym, where I can study. So I think Algonquin College has a really good community sense, and that was like really helpful for me as an international student. I am hoping to change people's life by becoming an architect.
Hi, my name is Haneta. I took the program Human Services Foundations at Algonquin College. I picked the Human Services because I found during my course of my previous profession that I did have a passion for helping people. I would feel very unfulfilled in my life if I don't help people. I cannot stand to see people who really need help not get the help that they need. I didn't want to be in a big city. I don't like the big city life, and I also don't like the really small town life as well. So I did a research, and I found that Algonquin College was the only college in Ottawa offering the Human Services Foundations course, which would really help me understand what it takes to be in the human services, so I went for it. Algonquin is a really big school, but we're a very small community, and anybody can help you. Literally just walk up to the first person you see and you will get any help you're looking for in the whole school. So in as much as you might have a little bit of anxiety because you're fresh to the country or fresh to school, it's really nothing. All you have to do is just walk up to the next person you see and say, please, I need help with whatever, and you will get any help, any and every help that the school can offer you. I am excited for what's to come next. I am excited to be in the human services profession. I am excited that I graduated from Algonquin. I am excited that I got to meet every single professor and everybody who could help me. I am excited that I made the right decision to move to Canada.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you all feel refreshed after that break. As an international student in Canada, in order to achieve academic success, it is critical to adhere to academic integrity and be aware of expectations in Canadian classrooms. Let's welcome Sandra Larwell, Senior Manager, Academic Integrity, to chat about what you should know about academic integrity. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Well, welcome everyone. So pleased to have you with us at Algonquin College, and I'm pleased to speak with you about academic integrity and what does it mean for you here at Algonquin College. So at Algonquin College, academic integrity is everyone's responsibility. That's you as our students, our professors, myself as an administrator, and all employees at the college, because it's about values of integrity and honesty and so forth. So as you start your programs with us, you will be well supported to learn how to become and to be responsible, to be informed about academic integrity and what represents misconduct. And one of those important policies that we have at the college is a policy on academic integrity that will be shared with you as you start your program. Next slide. So just before I speak a little bit more detail into, so what is academic integrity at Algonquin College and what would be considered acts of academic misconduct? Let's do a little poll to gain your understanding of academic integrity, because I do recognize and I value diverse educational backgrounds, and your expectations and experience around academic integrity may be different than what it is here at Algonquin College. So the poll question is, how much do you know about Canadian post-secondary institution expectations regarding academic integrity? So I'll give you a minute to respond.
So we're leading up to 60%, which is give a few seconds for more participating students. All right, I see the poll is getting a little bit slowed down, so I'm gonna count down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So right now we are reaching 75% participation, and I'm ending the poll. Thank you for participating and sharing the results.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for participating and sharing this. And this is where the Academic Integrity Office that I represent, we're definitely one area of the college that will help to support your learning around academic integrity and the expectations here during your studies. So what do I mean when I'm saying academic integrity? It really is. It's about approaching your academic studies with honesty, integrity, responsibility, and taking pride in knowing your academic success is a result of your own efforts and your own learning. It's about applying the values of fairness, honesty, courage, trust, responsibility, and respect, not only to your academic studies, but really to everything that you do personally, and when you actually seek your career and in the workplace. So in terms of just some examples, and what I'll show you just shortly is some of the misconduct behaviors that we consider a violation of academic integrity would be working with another student without the authorization of your professor, plagiarizing, which is all about learning about how to cite and reference someone else's work. And when you don't do that, it is known as plagiarism. And many more various types of misconduct will be shared with you as you start your program. So with that, just to give you a little bit of insight to those examples plus others, we'll go to the next slide or to a video clip from the Succeed in Canada module that you will be completing as part of your orientation here at Algonquin College. And within that, there is a module about academic integrity, and this will speak to the importance of it as well as the examples of misconduct for your better understanding.
Succeed in Canada. Module 4. Meeting academic standards. Academic integrity. What is academic misconduct, and how can you avoid it? Academic work is evaluated on the assumption that the work completed and submitted by a student is their own, created without help. Any action that goes against this principle is considered cheating, or academic dishonesty or misconduct. The following actions would all be considered as academic misconduct: taking a test or exam for another student, or having another student take a test or exam for you. Giving or receiving answers to a test or exam from another student. Unauthorized material such as notes are also included. Using or sharing unauthorized material or unapproved electronic devices for either classwork, homework, tests, or exams. Submitting work as your own when it was created wholly or in part by another individual. There are many variations on all of these examples, which we will explore further in the module. The key to avoiding academic misconduct is for each student to do their own work. Plagiarism. Plagiarism is a very specific act of academic dishonesty. It is expressly prohibited not only at Algonquin College, but also in Canadian workplaces. Plagiarism is a serious offense. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's work as your own, without crediting the original creator. There are many variations of this, which we will explore in the module content. Some countries encourage plagiarism, but in Canada, we see it as refusing to acknowledge and credit the time and effort an individual put into their original work. Plagiarism includes acts done intentionally or unintentionally, so err on the side of caution. If a student is caught plagiarizing, they are notified of the offense by their professor. A report is submitted, and a system of progressive penalties may then be applied. We will further discuss these penalties throughout the module. How to avoid plagiarism. Never cut and paste text from any source, even if translated from another language. Never copy text that is word for word, and never use other students' papers or previously submitted work. Use your own words. Take notes from the original source, then write your draft based on your notes. If you paraphrase, be sure to cite your source and include references. We'll explore this in great detail in the module. Academic integrity is important to Algonquin College. Policies ensure that all students have access to a fair education and that each learner meets the standards set by the college. While your professors will be on the lookout for academic misconduct, they begin the term by trusting that you will be committed to approaching your studies in a fair and honest manner. Now, let's take a look at the module and explore these ideas in more detail.
Thank you. So everyone, I encourage you to reach out to the Academic Integrity Office at any time for any questions on just some of the little details that you've seen here in this module. Please do complete that full module. And I look forward to speaking with you during your studies to help you understand and apply the academic integrity principles and expectations that we have here at Algonquin College.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Sandra. As she just mentioned, if you have any further questions about academic integrity, please feel free to reach out to the Academic Integrity Office to learn more at any time. Last, but certainly not least, it is my pleasure to have Michelle Ho, the Security Investigations Coordinator from Security and Emergency Services, to share important reminders about scams and fraud, as well as some safety practices.
Thank you very much, Yuen. Hello and welcome, everyone. I won't delay, and we'll dive right into this, and we'll have a look at the material we will be covering today. So there are certainly a variety of frauds and scams presently being used in Canada, or at least here in Ottawa. In today's presentation, I'll provide you with a brief rundown of some typical scams, how to recognize a fraud or scam, what to do if you become a victim of a scam, and how to protect yourself. We'll then have a quick view of Algonquin College's sexual assault and sexual violence policy. We will briefly discuss the definition of consent, what is not consent. We'll have we'll talk about a term commonly known as sextortion. So basically extortion with a sexual overtone, and what to do if you become a victim of this type of scam. And finally, we'll have a quick word on discrimination and how we deal with this issue at Algonquin College. You've already gone to the next slide. So Security Services is available to all students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We can be contacted via email, by telephone at extension 5010, in person on campus, or via the mobile safety app. You can find a link to the mobile safety app via the iSent app or the various app stores. The Security Services Department offers a number of services which you will find via the Algonquin College mobile safety app. I strongly encourage you to take a moment and download this app in order to familiarize yourself with these services that are offered to you here on campus. Next slide, please. So what is a fraud or a scam? A fraud or scam is basically an act that's committed by a person, a group of persons who are basically trying to trick you out of money, your personal information, or your property. These scams come in various forms, like perhaps calling you and offering you a prize, telling you that maybe telling you that your account has been hacked and that they require your personal information to fix the problem and things of this nature. You may also at times receive automated calls from an individual pretending to be from an official government organization, such as Canada Revenue Agency, Immigration Canada, or Canada Border Services, advising you that a warrant has been issued for your arrest. In the message, you'll be asked to contact a certain number, and that if you pay a fixed amount of money, the arrest warrant will be canceled. I would suggest to you that if you receive any such call, please hang up. There's no official organization in Canada that would threaten to have you arrested in exchange for money. If you get such call, as I said, hang up, contact security services, and we can certainly provide you some guidance. Next slide, please. So what is an email scam, or what is commonly known as phishing? So let's have a look at this video to help you better understand the concept of phishing.
While checking your email, you receive an alarming message from your bank. It says that your account might be jeopardized and provides a link to enter in your private information. Even though the logos and contact information appear to be correct, this email wasn't from your bank, but instead it was sent by cybercriminals looking to phish you. Phishing is when scammers trick you into divulging personal and financial information by pretending to be a legitimate source. Just like fishermen cast lines with bait attached, these scammers send out official-sounding emails, hoping that you will let your guard down. They often build entire pages and logins dedicated to looking like authentic banks or businesses, designed to get you to gain your trust and lower your guard. Even more alarming, phishers can even pose as your friends and family to trick you. In some cases, a phishing email can install malware on your computer without you even entering your username and password. Regardless of how they obtain it, once cybercriminals have your login information, they can change your passwords, steal your money, and even your identity. There are many ways to identify a possible phishing email. No legitimate bank, government agency, or business would send you an email requesting that you re-enter your private information. Misspellings, poor grammar, and typos are also good indicators of a phishing email. If you receive a phishing email, the best thing to do is just ignore it and mark it as spam. You can also use anti-spam filters as a way to avoid these emails entirely. You should always be on guard when opening up unknown emails. And make sure you have the latest internet security and email protection software on your computer to avoid phishing scams entirely.
Next slide, please. So before we go on to the next slide, I just want to quickly mention, as indicated, be very careful in the email, for example, that's being sent to you, or text message that's being sent to you, and don't be so quick in opening up that text message or that email. I myself received an email or text message last week advising me that there had been my Visa account had been hacked. Well, I know it was false because I'm not even a holder of a Visa credit card. So before you click on anything, make sure you read who the sender is of that email, and that it is a legitimate email address. So let's look at this video on spoofing.
It's known as spoofing when scammers mask phone numbers in your caller ID display so an incoming call looks like it's from a familiar number. Spoofers often use your area code, so a call may seem like it's from a neighbor, a local company, or even a government agency. They can get you at hello, even if no one's on the line. Sometimes scammers use spoofed robocalls to see if your line is live so they can target you later. Or you may be prompted to push a button on your phone to hear an important message. Don't do it. It may result in fraudulent charges. You may hear a recording or a live operator or some combination following a scam script designed to confuse you. The caller may already know a lot about you and may try to use that to fool you into giving them more. Keep your guard up. If a caller starts asking you for your PIN or a password to a bank account, or if you feel pressured or bullied, hang up. If you want to call back, use a customer service number you can validate on a bill, an account statement, or an official website. Bottom line, if you don't recognize the number, don't answer. And if you do, don't hang on, hang up. Learn more at fcc.gov/spoof.
So as noted in the video, when in doubt, hang up and call your bank or the agency that is calling you or sending you the text message. As I mentioned earlier, and I just can't say this enough, there's no banking institution that would ever send you an email requesting your personal information, wanting you to enter your PIN number because of a breach of their system, and wanting you to confirm that everything is still in order by entering your personal information. No official government agency, as I noted, Canada Revenue, Algonquin College, no one would just contact you and demand immediate payment or face deportation, for example. That just does not exist. So please do not fall for that. As I mentioned earlier, there are some scams that also attempt to have you click on various links or phone numbers in their text messages that they're sending to you. These individuals will often ask you to change your password. They're really trying just to simply obtain your personal information. By basically following their request, you're giving the sender of this email access to your computer, your personal information that's could be found on your computer, your phone. And then this person could then download a virus onto your computer, rendering it inoperable, and then perhaps requesting you pay a fee in order for them to remove the virus. So this is what we call ransomware. Again, I can't say this enough. Algonquin College, Canada Revenue, Immigration Canada, your bank will never telephone you and demand immediate payment. They will never threaten you with deportation. If you receive such calls, I suggest you hang up, call the agency in question directly. Never divulge any private information via text message or email. Next slide, please. So we're definitely seeing a rise in tuition scams, specifically targeting international students. I can tell you that last week, in fact, we had 3 that were brought to our attention here in security services. So what generally occurs is the student or the student's parents are approached by someone in your home country, and this person advises your parents that they are able to get you a discount or even like a tuition discount or even a better rate on your money exchange in order to save you some money. So what these scammers do is they take your money and then they pay your tuition with generally a stolen credit card. And then it takes a bit of time until the bank ends up finding out that the credit card was reported stolen. And by this point, then the bank is wanting their money back from the college. So we end up having to pay the tuition money back, which then leaves you with a tuition fee that you are still required to cover. So in order to avoid this from happening to you, never pay your fees through any other method other than the official methods authorized and recognized by Algonquin College. It's important that you get this message to your parents if they are the ones making the arrangements to pay your tuition fees. There are no discounts to be had, therefore do not let anyone tell you that they can get you a discount or a preferred rate. That just does not exist. If you have any doubts, please contact the International Education Center or the Registrar's Office for further guidance on this. Next slide, please. So how to protect yourself online. There are various ways you can protect yourself online. You can use antivirus software, multi-factor authentication, Don't use the same password for every website. Never click on a suspicious link, text message, etc. And again, no reputable company will ask for payment in Bitcoin account or free email, or use free email services such as Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo Mail to contact you. If in doubt, again, ask for advice or guidance. Most importantly, should you become the victim of a scam, please do not hesitate to contact the security services team. You will not be in any trouble. You will not be suspended from the college. And remember, please, we are always here to help. Next slide, please. So with respect to sexual assault and the sexual violence policy, or what is commonly known as SA-16 policy, so SA being student affairs, everyone at Algonquin College should be free from all forms of sexual assault, sexual violence, and sexual harassment. You should know that such complaints are taken very seriously here at Algonquin College. As I noted, we have a specific policy that deals with this topic, and I would invite you to review the SA-16 policy to understand what constitutes a sexual assault, what is sexual violence, what is sexual harassment. The policy will also explain to you what your rights are if you become a victim or survivor, term commonly used for victims of sexual assault, sexual violence, and the process that is in place at the college to deal with such issues, and how we at Algonquin College can support you. You should know that investigators will investigate these matters from a student conduct policy. And if you choose, if you became the victim or survivor, we can also assist you in contacting the Ottawa Police Service so that they can conduct an investigation and possibly lay criminal charges. So as I said, there are two separate processes within this context. One is strictly from a student conduct perspective, and then the police could conduct a criminal investigation. Algonquin College believes that the victim and survivor are the driver, what we call the driver in the investigations. So we, as investigators, we will only investigate an incident when the victim or survivor wishes us to investigate it. If you want to make a report and remain anonymous, you are certainly free to do that. However, you should know that if you remain anonymous, then obviously we cannot investigate it any further, but we obviously will respect your wishes to remain anonymous. As I noted, we can assist the student in contacting police, and we can provide the student with the appropriate services available to you here on campus. Next slide, please. So let's look at this video on consent.
Oh, sure, that's a great idea. But I'm not sure if Nicole is into horror films. Let me just ask her. Nicole! Hey, Nicole! You want to watch Werewolf vs. Zombie Vampire 6? Okay. Well, she didn't say no, so count us in. Sexual consent means that both people are actively willing to engage in a particular sexual behavior and express their consent by saying, yes, that's okay with me. But just because someone consents to engage in one kind of behavior does not mean that they have agreed to engage in another. Anyone has the right to change their mind about what they do or do not want to do at any time. This means that even if you are engaging in sexual acts with a person and they change their mind, you must stop and respect that person's wishes. Just because someone doesn't say no, it doesn't mean that they have said yes or given their consent. If a person is under the influence of drugs or alcohol, they are legally not able to give consent. Engaging in sexual behavior with someone who does not or cannot consent is sexual assault or rape. If you have been raped or sexually assaulted, please note that it is never your fault. It is also important to talk to a trusted adult about what has happened. Okay. Well, I guess next time we'll watch Love is in the Air 3. Okay, guys, till next time. And don't forget to come and visit me at...
You're muted, Mitch.
My apologies. Next slide, please. So what is consent? As we've just seen, I mean, there's some funny videos that are shown there, but I think it really gives you a good idea of what is consent and what is not consent. In Canada and at Algonquin College, there are strict rules when it comes to consent. As we've just seen, you cannot obtain consent to engage in sexual activity with another person if that person is asleep, if that person is drunk, or if that person is under the influence of drugs. You cannot coerce an individual in providing consent. In other words, you cannot threaten or blackmail an individual to obtain their consent. As noted in the video, consent can be withdrawn at any time. If a person has previously given you consent, it doesn't mean that they consent to all activities, and it doesn't mean that they consent every time. If you are initiating sexual activity, it's your responsibility to be clear and to get concise consent for all sexual activity. Next slide, please. We can go to the next slide, actually. I've just mentioned that. So sextortion. As we know, webcams have become a very useful tool in everyday life. Unfortunately, webcams have also become a tool for scammers and those looking to blackmail other individuals. So let's take a look at this video.
Oh. Oh.
Hi.
Oh. Hello.
Shall we play a game?
Oh. Okay.
If you take off your shirt, I would take off mine too.
Oh. Are you sure? Oh. Be wary of video chatting with strangers, as they may record what you reveal and use it against you.
If you don't pay me $10,000, then your photos will be all over the internet.
This might happen to you. Think of the consequences before you act. Don't become a victim of cyber extortion. For more information, visit www.scamalert.sg today.
Next slide, please. So, as we see, sextortion has become an increasing concern over the past few years. And unfortunately, some students have become victim of such scams. For the most part, cases we have generally seen, involve a female contacting a male student via some social media platform. They would usually send a friend request, and the student, or what I would call the victim, accepts the friend request, and then the two begin to exchange messages. And then within a very short period of time, the female, as we saw in the video, would ask the male student to chat in a separate video room. And during that video chat, the woman would usually engage in sexual conversation with the male student, and she would basically start removing some of her clothing and ask the male to do the same himself. And in the context of doing that, the female would also ask the male to perform a specific sexual act while he's on video. Unfortunately, and unknown to the student, the female records the male student during this sexual act. And then the female ends up requesting that the student pays them a sum of money, or threatens to distribute the video to the student's friends, family. They threaten to send the video to the college. So this is what we call, as I mentioned earlier, sextortion. So it's extortion, is blackmail with a sexual overtone to it. Be very cautious. Obviously, if you accept a friend request from a person you do not know, you should consider making your social media accounts private so that not all can see your friends or family contacts. If someone you do not know attempts to lure you into a separate video chat and the individual asks you to engage in sexual acts while on video, we hope that you'll not be tricked in committing such activity. However, if you do become a victim, stop all communication with this person. Do not comply with the threat. Do not send them any money, as they will just simply continue to threaten you, and they won't stop until they drain your bank accounts. So I would suggest, if you become a victim, contact security services, and we'll help you even call the police. Be sure to keep all correspondence between yourself and the suspect, as this information will greatly assist with the investigation. I would ask you to remember that you are the victim. You will not get in any trouble at the college or with the police. You will not be expulsed. We will help you get to the bottom of this and hopefully be able to settle matters and provide you with some guidance. Next slide. So with respect to discrimination, discrimination at the college is dealt with through our student conduct policy, so SA07 policy. Algonquin College believes that everyone should be free from any form of discrimination. If security services receives a complaint of discrimination, the complaint will be investigated, and any sanctions imposed following the investigation will, for the most part, be imposed by the Student Conduct Board. The sanctions that the board may impose are noted in the student conduct policy itself. The college's values of caring, learning, integrity, and respect are values that the college holds dearly. For this reason, the college expects the college community to conduct itself accordingly and be mindful of our values. The college will not tolerate any form of discrimination. If you feel you have been discriminated against, we encourage you to report it to security services. Again, we're here to help you, and there are support services here on campus to help you as well. I would also suggest perhaps you report to your professor, your program coordinator, or even counseling services. And again, if you wish to be part of the process and file a complaint, we'll definitely help you through that. Next slide, please. So other resources, these are just general resources that you will find to various departments in the city of Ottawa and Ontario, explaining various rules and guidance, for example, for cycling, water safety, and any of our emergency services. So when you have time, maybe just have a quick look at these just to familiarize yourself with the services that are available to you in the community. Next slide, please. So this has been a brief and quick overview of common themes regarding scams, consent, sexual assault, etc. I want to thank you for having me here today, and I wish you all a great experience at Algonquin College. And please feel free at any time if you have any questions regarding our conduct policy or any problems you experience, please feel free to come and see us at Security Services, and we'll definitely be happy to provide you with some guidance. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mitch, for the informative session. These tips and resources are very, very important for everyone to remember and practice. If you are interested in learning more about how to protect yourself from scams and fraud, the IEC works together with Canada Revenue Agency, short for CRA, to deliver regular workshops on this topic. Please visit the IEC calendar to register. In addition to the safety presentation, we would like to share some very important water and ice safety tips. In spring and summer, if you are swimming in the open water, be mindful that it is very different than a swimming pool, as the distance can be deceiving, and you also have to deal with obstacles including waves, currents, and undertows. Always check the weather conditions before going into any bodies of open water. Wear a life jacket when fishing and boating, and make sure you avoid alcohol around water, as your judgment and reflexes may become compromised. And in the winter time, most lakes and rivers freeze. While some are safe to walk and skate on, remember that the temperature in Canada can fluctuate, which means the ice may not be strong enough to hold you. Avoid slushy, thawed, recently frozen ice or ice near moving water. Avoid going on the ice at night, as you may not be able to see how strong the ice is. Do not go out onto the ice alone. As an international student, you may also face challenges in transitioning to a new culture, a new learning environment, and being away from home for the first time. It is critical to take care of your mental health so that you can succeed in and out of the classroom. There may be stigma for many international students to reach out for support, but please note that seeking mental health resources and support services does not impact your immigration applications or any academic implication whatsoever. Whether or not you are accessing counseling services and what is discussed are both confidential. The staff and faculty at Algonquin are here to support you every step of the way. Please reach out to all the mental health supports available if you ever need to speak with someone or if you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Another important mandatory reminder is to follow the following 2 steps to help us ensure we can contact you or your trusted contacts in the case of emergency. Update your emergency contact on your MyAC portal, which you use to submit your application to Algonquin College. Log in and click the Learning Community on the right top corner. Then you will see the emergency contacts as a second tab on the top screen navigation bar. To update your local address, simply log into your Access account, find the Profile tab on the left-hand navigation bar. Then click Edit My Profile to update your current Canadian residential address. Now, I just want to quickly pass my mic to my colleague, Kara, International Programming Support Officer, to talk about International Peer Mentor Program and some upcoming exciting events designed for international students. Kara.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just make sure, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so we'll be talking a little bit about the International Peer Mentorship Program. So the point of the program is essentially to have someone who has been at the college a little bit longer, help you through your first semester of school. They help you, make your first friends, stay up to date on events, learn what Ottawa has to offer, and maybe a few things outside of Ottawa, as well as get one-on-one advice from current international students. For example, studying might be different here than the type of studying you did at home, and someone who has one semester under their belt might understand it a little better and might be able to help you better with that. The mentors are also able to help you get connected with college resources, and that means everything from if you've never been to the IEC before, they'll help you down here, or if you maybe want to connect with counseling services or join a club for the first time with the Students Association, the International Peer Mentorship Program they help you do that as well. Can I get the next slide, please? So along with the IPM program, we will also be doing a lot of IEC events, with the first one being the Welcome and Welcome Back lunch we will be holding on Friday. So we have 3 sessions, 11, 12:15, and 1:30. I hope you've all registered because the event is now sold out. You can obviously also just keep checking. Some people might cancel before they come in, but it'll be a great event for you to meet not just other new students, but also some of our older students. If you want to hear about their experiences here at the college, a lot of our mentors will be right on site. So if you make a connection with someone who's a mentor who you'd maybe want to be your mentor for the rest of the semester, that is an amazing place to start. You'll also be meeting a lot of our international student advisors in person if you just want to come say hi and be a little bit more familiar with them. Right after our Welcome and Welcome Back lunch, we'll be holding our International Peer Mentorship Program meet and greet. So for everyone who's like, I'm not sure if I really like this, or I don't know if this is really my style. You get the chance to meet some of our mentors and some of our previous mentees as well, who've now moved into mentor positions, to see if, this is the right program for you. And if it is, maybe make a connection that we'll be able to build onto in the future. Along with that, we will be holding our SIN card clinic. So as was mentioned earlier by Michelle, that you require a SIN card to work here in Canada. So we'll be holding clinics where CRA will be here. Is it CRA? No. Where we will have people here to help you out to get your SIN card on the 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th, and 11th of May from 9 to 3. And all of these sessions are first come, first serve. Along with that, currently, starting today, we have what is called our Employment Bootcamp in collaboration with the Employment Support Center, where essentially they'll be giving you tips on how to get a job in Canada, especially for those who want part-time jobs. So this starts with resume, cover letter, how to do an interview, how to build your LinkedIn, and things like that. Last but not least, for the next little 2-week period, we also have our Discover Ottawa Hanami Picnic in the Arboretum, which is a word I have a hard time saying. However, this will be next Friday at 3 p.m. And if you would like to sign up, you have to sign up in person here at the IEC front desk. So I hope to see you around for some of these events. And it looks like we'll be having a good time. Next slide.
All right. Thank you so much, Kara. Now we're almost at the end of our orientation. We really, really appreciate that you have given us all your undivided attention. We would like to reward you with a game and prize time to see how much information you have retained today from the presentations. Now you can pull out your mobile devices, enter kahoot.it in your address bar, then enter the game pin with which Kara will pull out on her screen shortly. Take a screenshot of your nickname page and winning ranking page if you are one of our top 3 players. Then email us to claim your e-gift card prize. The trick of winning is a combination of both knowledge and speed. With that, I will pass the slide control over to Kara again to wrap up our orientation with a fun Kahoot game.
Thank you so much, Shiwen. Let's switch on over. All right, and could everyone confirm whether or not they can see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. That is exactly what we want to hear.
Just not the music.
Yes, we're going to add the sound right there. Okay, so I see people coming in. As Shiwen mentioned earlier, this is a game of both speed and knowledge. So to be able to get the most points, you not only need to be the person who gets it correct, but you also want to be the first person to get that prize. So we're going to give everyone about another, let's say 10 seconds. Let's do a little countdown of 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, maybe 2.5, 1. Okay, I see the last minute names. Go, 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 last minute. All right, so let's start. So for our first question today, what is the main condition of study permit holders? Is it to work while studying, actively pursuing study, part-time work, or do what I want when I want? Ooh, answers are popping in. Awesome. So it looks like most of us did get the answer correct. The main condition of study permit holders is actively pursuing study. Let's see what the leaderboard looks like. Okay, so Mark has 928. Get to see Next question. What's the fastest, easiest, and most convenient way to access non-urgent medical consultations with a Canadian doctor? Is it hospital emergency room? Is it walk-in clinic? Is it campus health services? And is it mobile doctor by GuardMe? Okay, once again, most of us got that correct. The answer would be mobile doctor by GuardMe. However, I do see that a lot of you answered walk-in clinic, and this is also an option for you to get medical care. Any changes? Okay, Mark is still at the top of the leaderboard, but we see a little bit of up and down going on. Let's see. Can I work when I want and as many hours as I want? No, I have to respect IRCC rules. Or yes, but I can't work before my program starts. Is it yes, because I have a SIN card? Or no, my working hours are decided by my employer? Correct. Looks like most of us paid attention. No, I have to respect the IRCC rules about working. Exactly. Any changes? Okay, so Mishka has moved back up, and we have a few other new people on our leaderboard, with Grace having a 3-answer streak. All right, our fourth question. My work permit that says Algonquin College is my employer can be used for, is it only off-campus work, only on-campus work, both on-campus and off-campus work, or only for work that is required by my program? What could it be? Oh, interesting. Okay, so it seems as though we had a little bit of a misunderstanding. The answer is that your work permit that says Algonquin College is your employer can only be used for work that is required by your program, such as co-op, or maybe if you have a field placement or an unpaid work placement. That's what your work permit that says Algonquin is your employer can be used for. Any changes? Ooh. Okay, the top is the same, it's steady, but everything below has been moving around, which is good to hear. Which of the following are excluded from GuardMe coverage? Claims incurred while under the influence of drugs or alcohol, claims resulting from off-roading or racing, birth control prescriptions, or all of the above. Okay, so it is all of the above. I see a lot of us answered claims incurred under the influence of drugs and alcohol, which is true, which is very, very true. However, all of the options that we have are not covered by GuardMe. Oh, okay. We have once again mixed up the from 2 to 4, but number 1 stays steady. I can work during a break that is a break that I need to take so I can work and pay for next semester, a scheduled break, an unscheduled break, also known as authorized leave, or a break that I need for personal and medical reasons. Which one? Correct. It looks like we were paying attention. You can work during a scheduled break. Any changes? Oh, Mark, you seem to know all the answers, but Karen has the highest answer streak, which is amazing. Okay, what services are available at the International Education Center? I can book an appointment to speak with an international student advisor about my study permit. I can apply for 10 hours of free peer tutoring via iSent. I can learn about events, workshops, and important updates, or all of the above. Yes, it is all of the above. We are your magical one-stop shop for almost everything. So yes, you can do all of that here at the IEC. Any changes? Okay, some people have moved up, some people have moved down, but Mark is still dominating. And Priti has made a comeback, which is great to see. Okay, where can I find detailed information about my GuardMe policy? I can ask a friend, or I could Google it, I guess. Or I could go to www.guard.me/Algonquin, or I could check the newspaper. Which one could it be? Exactly. It seems we all picked this one up. If you want more detailed information on your GuardMe insurance policy, you go to www.guard.me/Algonquin. Any changes? Any changes? We have finally stabilized. Okay. We're at our penultimate question. Which action is correct when you receive a call from a person claiming to be the college asking you to transfer money? Do you follow instructions to transfer the money and give your personal information? Do you transfer the money first, then contact the college to confirm? Do you hang up and contact the IEC to verify? Or do you provide personal information but don't transfer any money? Oh, we were all listening. I like to hear it. So if you get a call from someone claiming to be the college asking you to transfer money, you hang up and you contact the IEC to verify. The college will only ever contact you through official means. Any changes? Okay, so Mishka has moved up 1 and Mona has moved down 1. Let's see if anything changes for our final question. What other orientations should you attend or watch to ensure a smooth start? AC Day 1, your program orientation, recordings of college essentials / orientation, or all of the above? What could it be? All of the above is the correct answer. So it seems we do have a few people who said AC Day 1, and that is correct. AC Day 1 is very important and also very, very fun. However, on AC Day 1, it also tends to be your program orientation. And if you'd like to know more about things like your UPass, your AC card, how to access certain services that we may not have talked about in today's orientation, you should go back and watch recordings of college essentials. Along with that, the Algonquin College main Instagram is running Instagram lives called Inside Scoop, where they'll be telling you some extra stuff on that as well. And maybe you have a chance to get some of your general college questions answered there. All right, let us see the final tally. In third place, we have Abhishek. And in second place, Mishka. And of course, in first place, we have Mark. Congratulations to my 3 podium finishers, and congratulations to Mona, and I apologize, I did not see the last name there. For those who are on this podium, I want you to take a screenshot from your side, not my screen, but a screenshot from your side that shows that you're on the podium. And I want you to email it to iecsupport@algonquincollege.com. One more time, iecsupport@algonquincollege.com. Thank you so much, and I will give it back to Shiwen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kara. And the information will be, the contact information that Kara just mentioned, it will be also on my screen shortly of the IEC contact information page. I'm just taking over the screen share. Just give me 1 second. All right, hope everybody can see the contact information of our IEC. So thank you all very much again for joining and participating in our International Student Orientation today. Please make sure to complete the survey to provide your feedback about this orientation to win a gift card from AC Connections, the campus store, e-gift cards. So the survey will be available once you leave the session, will pop up on your screen right away. And the recording and the presentation slide will be shared on the iSent on May 5th onwards. Meanwhile, we may have some questions that students haven't got a chance to ask. So our staff will stay here for another 1 or 2 minutes to answer any questions and that you have. It is a very good time for you to enter your last questions before you leave. We will try our best to answer all the questions today. And if you don't have any question, you may leave this session already. Thank you again for attending today, and wish you a smooth start of your journey at Algonquin College. I'm just playing light music while everyone is leaving if you don't have a question, or if you are typing your last questions before you leave. Just a friendly reminder, please keep your question to today's presentation's topic if possible, because the rest of the questions will be answered in the AC Day 1. And we will share the AC Day 1 registration link in the chat already, and we'll be sharing again. We see that our questions are cleared right now. We just give another 1 or 2 minutes for your last questions, and then we will leave the session. Any last question? All right, seems like we do not have any questions for today. I just pause the music, and you can always contact us via the channels in this page if you have questions during your studies. And finally, do not forget to complete the survey when you left this session, and to check out the recording and the presentation slides on iCent after May 5th. I'll just see another question popping in. Just have that question answered. And in the meanwhile, we would like to thank you again for attending today and wish you a smooth start of your journey at Algonquin College. Just finishing this one last sentence from this student, and then we will close the session. And have a wonderful day, everyone. Yeah. Have a wonderful day, everyone.